What's Ripley's cat's name? Does it have a name? Is it just
I don't know. It's a cat. It's just a cat.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that because I was going to suggest that hospital cats become a thing.
Ugh. Puppies?
No.
Okay. Well, let's actually start this thing. Welcome to the Paxtoning, a deep dive into a legendary character actor's filmography and the conversations it spawns about life, love, and the pursuit of Paxtonness.
This better be good.
Welcome to the Paxtoning.
Hospital cats become a thing.
But let's actually talk about aliens.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
Welcome. That's a very lovely intro to our new podcast, The Paxtoning. Kind of about Bill Paxton, but not really.
Bill Paxton is the springboard from which this conversation will come forward.
Yes, the foundation upon which this lovely house of film discussion will be built upon. That was reaching. A year ago when this will be released.
Yes.
Passing of a very...
We lost a creative genius of our time.
Yes, by the name of William Archibald Paxton. And I don't know how it came about. We were talking about it at our Monday night trivia.
Yes.
At our local pizza parlor.
Yes.
Run by the fabulous Lee. He technically birthed this podcast.
Yes, Lee the trivia genius inspired this podcast.
And somehow Bill Paxton, Michael Biehn, James Cameron, all of those names kept coming up, and
Wasn't there a Bill Paxton picture round?
yes,
I think there was.
I think that was the day he passed, and so we just started talking about Bill Paxton a lot,
right.
And then we just started talking about character actors, and we thought, I don't know, we like listening to us, maybe somebody else would like listening to this.
Other people enjoy listening to us.
So I think our plan is to just work our way through the films of Bill Paxton and
see where it takes us.
Plan to do that and end up talking about completely different things.
And once in a while we hope to have special guests to help round out the conversation.
We have some great, fantastic, legendary guests lined up already. So fantastic you might not even have recognized their genius yet. You might not even know of their genius yet.
You will learn of their genius here.
So it was birthed out of our local trivia night. We'd have beer and pizza, and we'd talk about awesome people like Bill Paxton. Speaking of brouhahas, these conversations are always fun because we also have a local brew of choice, and Carolyn's local brew of choice. Oh.
Berkshire Brewing Company Coffee House Porter.
Yeah, and I am having a delightfully sour passion fruit something from Two Roads. Let me tell you, it's a drink that's, what, a third of a six Paxton?
That's true.
Six Paxton.
A six Paxton, oh no.
This will probably be the most Paxton-heavy episode.
Yes.
Because for anybody who's coming in who really hasn't watched that many of his movies, and to be honest, I don't think Carolyn...
I haven't seen a lot of them. Also, some of them he has a very small part, but the film is noteworthy, or the year that it happened is noteworthy. There's plenty of food for discussion.
Yeah, it's interesting. 'Cause to me, I don't know. To me, growing up, I very much knew his name and his face. But for a lot of people, I didn't realize that he is very much that character actor. People know his face. Yeah. And they can name movies, but people didn't really necessarily know that much about him.
Well, yeah, that's like when I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it wasn't till we were talking about Paxton that it occurred to me that he was a key character in season 1 or 2.
He's a linchpin, you might say. I feel like everybody has a story like that, too.
Yeah.
Everybody has, a Bill Paxton story and, a Robin Williams story. Have you noticed that? Anyway, our plan is we're going to do these every couple weeks for the 2 people that are listening, and by 2 people, I mean myself and Carolyn. Yep. It's probably a good time to introduce ourselves as well. I'm Olivia.
I'm Carolyn.
And
this is the Paxtoning!
Yes! Who cares about us anyway, right? It's all about the Paxton. Granted, this is our first episode, but you can keep up with the films we have scheduled and what we're going to talk about on our next episode by checking out our Letterboxd page at letterboxd/Paxtoning. That's Letterboxd with no E at the box.
It's like Goodreads for movies.
Yes. Well, Goodreads is like Facebook, but real
for books. For books. Yeah, it's like Facebook for books.
Right. Look for new episodes every couple of weeks. Look at your pod feeds around March 11th for the next one. We're working hard at lining up some amazing guests. But if you have intel or any connections for some guests you think would make great additions, please email us at thepaxtoning@gmail.com. So let me ask you something. What was the first time you remember being cognizant of like, oh, that's Bill Paxton? Was it Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Was it literally that?
Yeah, it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But you have to have seen,
I mean,
I've seen the 90s.
Oh, come on. I saw so many movies. All the movies I saw had Bill Paxton in it. I just didn't know he was there. It was like he just contributed to the whole.
I feel like that's why character actors are so important. Carolyn knows this about me. Sam Rockwell is my MVP of life. And Tracy Letts and all these, and Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Sally Hawkins, all these great character actors, I feel like make up the reason why movies are so great. It's not usually the leading character that you're all that interested in.
So, that kind of ties into, like, what makes Paxton so great is he loved film. The art form, the craftsmanship, the teamwork. Everybody had a role that was important and unique, and it all came together to make this amazing experience.
And I feel like his movies also was working pretty steadily from the 70s up until the time he passed. And so that's also a big reason why we're using his filmography for this podcast. We could have started any podcast talking about movies and pop culture and TV.
And you would be listening and enjoying it.
Right. But, like, why not throw in the Paxton? Because his films span decades, and so many of them are these big, either cult classic hits or just huge box office draws. And so you kind of get a really good sampling across the decades of, the popular cult films and just popular films in general of each of those decades. Good benchmark. Paxton's a good benchmark.
He's a touchstone.
Well, and like I said, growing up, for me it was like Robin Williams and Bill Paxton were kind of always present. Because I was a child of the 90s, so it was like Twister and Apollo 13 and Titanic and...
Yes, I saw Apollo 13.
all that stuff for me. It was... Okay, I'll put it this way. This is going to sound so cheesy, but Robin Williams was like my surrogate father, and Bill Paxton was like my surrogate crazy uncle. You know that uncle or aunt figure that everybody has, and you're just like, oh, crazy Uncle Bill. Like that, for me, it was Robin Williams and Bill Paxton. Oh, and did you know, Carolyn, we have a connection to Bill Paxton?
We love him?
Well, other than that,
okay,
that's obvious. But as a boy, he went to Camp Viking on the Cape. Yeah.
He spent formative years in Massachusetts.
Yes. Oh, yes. I don't think Carolyn knew that.
I didn't.
For those of you who don't know, this podcast is coming to you out of Salem, Massachusetts. Carolyn is a lifer here, but she's actually closer to the Cape where she grew up.
Where I grew up was closer to Cape Cod.
And my family is, way, way back from the Vineyard and has Massachusetts history. I also thought this would be an opportune time to just share with everybody. This is your Paxton pint, your little nugget of knowledge of stuff to make you feel good about life. Okay, Bill Paxton's favorite quote. I think you need to be ready for this awesome sauce. His favorite quote, Robert Oppenheimer, father of...
Oh, wait.
We literally had this as a trivia question.
Oh, shit. Atomic bomb? Was it atomic bomb?
There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Paxton's favorite quote is, "Theoretical insights flourish best when the thinker is apparently wasting time." Yeah.
Yeah.
She has her letting that sink in face. But I thought that was just very apt because,
words.
That's what this podcast is. Many could say we're wasting time.
Right, but are we? You're not.
Existentialist. This is what happens. And something I also like that I've heard him say is he became aware of the artifice of filmmaking, but fell in love with the magic of it all. Like, that's so beautiful. I think it should also be mentioned, though, that, like, while we're touting this as a podcast talking about a character actor's filmography, Bill Paxton was also a filmmaker. He said something like he wished he started directing earlier in life.
I finally I am embarrassed to say I could not remember the character name on S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's Garrett.
Call back, ladies and gentlemen, to 15 minutes ago. So usually in these episodes we'll talk about a movie. This week it's Aliens, and we'll get to that in a bit. We have some other stuff to do, stuff and things.
True. Yeah, another tidbit about Bill Paxton that unites us, Buster Keaton.
Oh, yes.
The man, the myth, the genius. Comedy genius, silent film star, and talkie star.
General Hottie.
Dreamboat Bill Jr.
This is why this podcast exists, so we can just make each other laugh. So we're talking about aliens this week, but what I thought was interesting is Mr. Paxton was always talking about, how he loved directing. He wished he did more of it. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about on the Nerdist Chewing It podcast about how he never did it or got into it soon enough because he kept comparing himself to James Cameron because he worked with him so much, and so he just didn't do it. And then he learned later in life, said something like different people tell different stories. Oh, and I just thought that was just...
See, I would have thought he'd say, fuck it, man.
Fuck it, man. Tell your story, man.
Tell it your own way, man.
But I feel, this is why I wish we had Bill Paxton around for this last year. Because all of these big movements, just general, it doesn't even have to be like the Me Too movement, but just everything. I feel like Bill Paxton
people
would have been a great voice.
Be good to each other, man. Or to quote another film, be excellent to each other.
Yes. That's why we love Bill Paxton. One of millions of reasons. But we thought we'd talk about the man a little bit before we started yapping about other stuff. It doesn't actually have to do with Bill Paxton, because after all, this isn't really a Bill Paxton podcast.
No, it's just Paxtoning.
It's just happening. It's Paxtoning. So, what have you been watching?
Oh, gee. In terms of new stuff, I've seen a couple of movies. Lady Bird.
Yes.
I don't go to the actual cinema often.
No.
Let's be awesome.
Let's be honest. Let's be often. Let's be often.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's kind of pricey, so I pick and choose what I go and see.
So, Lady Bird.
Yep, Lady Bird. Yep, loved it. It really hit home for me as someone who went to a Catholic high school and had a difficult mother. Who I felt my mother, like the mother in the story, took care of my needs, but didn't necessarily. It wasn't clear whether we liked each other or not.
Right.
It's just like fulfilling the obligations, and it was hard.
I have a weird connection with this movie because I went to college in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. So the school where this takes place, I'm pretty sure it's either based on, or the actual school that Greta Gerwig went to, which was just behind my college. So I'd see it all the time. It just seems so foreign to me. But when I saw the movie and recognized everything in it and kind of the kind of archetype characters in it, it was so, when they're driving to the airport, I've done that drive. I've wanted to jump out of cars too at that moment. That's what Sacramento does to you. No shade. No, see,
I'd fry. I'd die. I wouldn't.
Yeah. No, literally there's no shade. Okay, so you saw Lady Bird. I think you saw something else recently. What'd you see?
Black Panther. I saw Black Panther and loved it.
Okay.
Lots of strong female characters, good storyline, beautiful cinematography. I loved it. I'm not the film expert you are, but it was strong story and strong presentation.
By the way, I was not going, yes, I'm a film expert. It's going, I'm listening to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then the guy who plays, I think they refer to him as M'Baka, he was awesome. He starts out as an opposition force, but then becomes an ally.
But I was seeing on it was Twitter or something, somebody was talking about how he's a grown white male, and he was saying when he was 16 or something and he saw Spider-Man, he was so excited to have the person he could, hope to be when he grew up or something. Mm-hmm. And now that he's seeing, people aspire to be characters in Wonder Woman or Black Panther, he's like, I would never want to rob them of that feeling as well. Like, everybody should have something that they, and
their
it's
hero
so
that
nice that,
yeah.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
We could gush about Wonder Woman.
Oh, God, I cried every 5 minutes in that movie.
Can we talk about how we both talked about how we cried, and I've talked to multiple men about that. And they're like, oh, really? When did you do that? Well, there are many scenes, and they just didn't get it.
No. I mean, it's because they had that experience when they were small children and recognized their heroes.
In literally every movie, ever. So, recently, I watched a movie called Princess Sid on Netflix. It came out last year. I'm kind of scrounging to finish up all the 2017 movies I wanted to get to. Because, like a maniac, I build my top list of the year a week after the Oscars, because everybody posts their top lists in December for the best movies of the year, right? And so I wait until a week after the Oscars, so it's usually March, when people are on a nostalgia kick and they aren't tired of seeing the same top 10 lists over and over.
Right.
So I'm trying to get in all the last movies that I've been meaning to see. So I saw a movie called Princess Sid. It's directed by Stephen Cohn. But what's really cool is female cinematographer. The story is just so fluid. good. It's a very quiet story about like a 16-year-old girl who moves in with her aunt for a couple weeks in the summer in Chicago. And her aunt is a local author, almost an asexual storyline. And like it just explores all sorts of different facets of sexuality that you don't see in like such a subtle way. Because usually it's, you know, really just, oh, we're going there. We're going to unpack this. But it's just such a nice little quiet story. So you should see it.
How does he spell Sid?
CYD. What is that short for?
But Sid Charisse spelled her name that way, I think.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the original Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
She would have been a good Wonder Woman. See, you won't get talk like this on an all-male podcast.
No, you won't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Bill Paxton loved old Hollywood.
This is true. Bring it right back
Bringing
around.
it right back. Bring it boomerang.
Oh, and you know what's so sweet? The BAFTAs were Sunday, or when we recorded this, they were the prior Sunday. And the In Memoriam reel started, so I was ready. But what I wasn't ready for was, you know, they showed Bill Paxton's picture, like they did with everybody. But there were only a handful of people that they showed an actual clip, and he was one of them.
Yes.
And I think he was one of the last ones. And it was just so, it's like out of maybe 20 or 30 people, and this is British, mind you.
British.
This isn't even the Academy Awards. And they showed a clip. Granted, it was like a maniacal laughing one. I think it was from Weird Science. But it was just like, it was so cute that they showed that. And
Right. Oh, that's so sweet, because that's an early work. Also, his death happened early in the year, so if they put it later in the stream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that.
But it also reminds me that we're going to have to go through that again at the Academy Awards.
Oh, man.
I'm just like, I can't.
Whoa.
In memoriams, they can't do.
You're strong. You can do it.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the Oscars. The Oscars are coming up.
They are imminent.
Now, let me just explain to you all that Carolyn does not really care about the Oscars.
Yeah.
And to be truthful, I don't actually care about them, but I have watched them since a small child. And I'm just, like, people have Super Bowl and that whole season leading up to it. Awards season is, like, my Super Bowl. And the Academy Awards is just the end. You know, it's the final.
It's the final. Yeah, like for me, who enjoys basketball, it's just the finals.
This is what you're getting in this podcast. Carolyn likes the sports balls.
Just one sport ball, the basketball.
And I like the movie stuff.
Oh, I've been watching films since day
Yeah.
one. I was raised by old people, so I've seen a lot of old movies.
Yes. So out of the Best Picture nominees, what have you actually seen?
What have I seen? Dunkirk.
Lady Bird, Dunkirk.
Yes.
And let's remind me of your thoughts on Dunkirk.
Loved Dunkirk.
Loved it.
Cried a bit during Dunkirk.
Mm.
I mean, it was an intense piece. It was long, it was slow, it was tense. But it was this, I don't know if the film craft so much, but just the thought that it was based on actual events and what the everyday citizens went through to help win the war.
Right. And there's a very similar, I mean, it's a beautiful scene, you know, with all the boats coming, like all the civilian boats. They do have a scene like that in Darkest Hour as well.
Oh.
Which was really beautifully done. And Darkest Hour done by Joe Wright? Something Wright.
I think so.
It's Joe Wright. And actually, I think he covered Dunkirk more successfully in his film Atonement. There's a 5-minute tracking shot set on the beach. And I feel like in that 5 minutes, it's like a more effective short film than Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk.
Yeah, it was long. I enjoyed it, but I looked at my watch, and I can sit through a long movie and not do that.
I think I'm not a huge Christopher Nolan. Batman.
No.
So
do not diss the Batman.
So you've seen Lady Bird and Dunkirk. I've seen all of them. All of the Best Picture. Yeah. And honestly, like, my favorite for Best Picture is probably Darkest Hour, Get Out, Call Me By Your Name. What's great about this year is they're all really good. They all, except for The Post.
I don't know.
And Three Billboards was wishy-washy with me.
Hold on, that was whoa. The movie with Sam Rockwell, Your True Love.
So here's the thing. I think he was brilliant, as he always is. Frances McDormand was amazing, as she always is. Like, everything was good. It's just the movie itself, like the vehicle, I didn't love.
Okay.
Like, I enjoyed it. I'd gladly see it again. It's just, if you've seen Martin McDonagh films before, Seven Psychopaths and In Bruges, Like, he has a quality of brutality that is just, it's a little hard to take. And Three Billboards really goes there and has some really kind of odd tonal shifts. Yeah, so Sam Rockwell was amazing.
Okay, just checking.
But the movie itself, I didn't love as much as the individual parts that made up the whole. I'd watch anything he's in, let's be real.
We know.
So I think Frances McDormand is pretty much a shoo-in for the Best Actress. But one thing that I have a problem with the Best Actress is you could easily have subbed out Meryl Streep
For anyone.
and put in Vicky Krieps from Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
Okay, the lead actress in Phantom Thread, she's done a bunch of foreign films, but I think this might be her first big film in the English language. And she is amazing in it. Absolutely amazing. And not a single bit of awards buzz for her at all. So it's like Meryl Streep, I don't know, I feel like the poster was just a very generic.
She's kind of like the Patriots of acting.
Yeah.
She's won so many times. Let someone else have a chance.
Right, but it's not like you dislike them.
No.
They're plenty likable.
Still love the Patriots.
I love Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
But, like, does she need it?
No, she doesn't. Sorry.
Especially not for the post.
And
I'm sorry. I have a problem, I think, with Steven Spielberg movies lately. They're so forgettable.
he's the Patriots.
He is Tom Brady.
He is the Patriots of directors. Wait, is he a director?
Yes. Steven Spielberg, yes.
I'm not that dumb. I'm sorry.
She is literally from the around the area where Jaws was made.
I am. I'm pretty sure. I remember vaguely. I think it may have been for like Jaws 3 or 4 when my brother was actually working on the vineyard the day they were filming. I think they used one of his hearses or something.
I feel like everybody around that area has a Jaws story.
Oh yeah.
Like they were.
Your family was in Jaws.
Their
house was in Jaws.
Our family house was almost used as the Brody house, like the Brody residence.
This close to somebody.
Yeah, but my great grandfather basically poo-pooed it and was like, Hollywood's not gonna, I mean, he didn't say it with that much sass, probably, because he was an admiral in the Navy, but that's exactly what he said to Steven Spielberg's location scout. And then Best Actor, this one's tricky for me, because I did not see Roman J. Israel Esquire, but I saw every other performance. I saw Timothée Chalamet, Daniel Day-Lewis, Daniel Kaluuya, Gary Oldman. Like, every single one of those is so good. So good. But Daniel Day-Lewis, let's be real, I don't think that was a huge stretch for him. It's a brilliant performance, but Gary Oldman in Darkest Hours, that's a stretch to embody Winston Churchill.
That's not a role that just anybody could play. It would be a challenge, because he's such a larger-than-life historical figure.
Well, and what I'm torn about is, like, Timothée Chalamet is, I don't know, he's got to be like 20 or 21, something like that. And he's so just, I don't know, his performance is just effortless. You remember making those like awkward, I don't know, mannerisms and things like that. He just portrays being a teenager so well. So I really like Gary Oldman or Timothée Chalamet for that. He's 20. 20-year-old doesn't need an Oscar.
Who are you to say that a 20-year-old doesn't need an Oscar?
Where are you going to go from there?
Oh, okay.
Can only go down.
He could get hit by a bus the day after.
Oh, no.
I'm just like, if he earned it, let him have it.
But my two favorites for Best Actor are both problematic. Timothée Chalamet less so, because he was cast in a Woody Allen movie, and people were upset with him for it because he's speaking out so much against, all of these sexual abuse, alleged sexual abuse perpetrators. And his retort was, I can't. When they asked, why are you working with Woody Allen, he responded with, I can't. I'm contractually obligated not to talk about this right now. I'll talk about it at some.
What?
Which ended up being total bull.
Yeah.
Because they looked into his contracts.
Okay, he's spineless. Don't take it away.
But he's also essentially a child.
Right.
Trying to keep... This was also around the time when the Oscar nominations had not come out yet. So I think he was just trying to do what his publicist told him to kind of field things and, get that nomination. And then it's also kind of shady because Greta Gerwig, who's also worked with Woody Allen, and then Gary Oldman has... Yeah, so the New York Daily News in 2001 had put out a story where Gary Oldman's now ex-wife alleged that he was extremely physically abusive to her, like, in graphic detail. And
that makes me sick.
And he's also been known to like pretty famously support Mel Gibson's comments, and
I just did a finger, but
and Alec Baldwin. Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't know how do we...
To reward someone like that.
Yeah, when the
is hard.
Academy Awards...
How do you separate the performer from the performance?
Because it's one thing to say that this is just a random, like if it's by box office numbers, that's how things are nominated. But it's not. They're nominated by people in this industry. Other actors, other filmmakers, other producers, the same people who are championing the times of like...
Game over, man!
Yes! Exactly. But they're the same people voting for people like Gary Oldman. So I don't quite know what we're supposed to do with that. Right. Especially when people like James Franco, who had so many people came out to all kinds of uncomfortable stories after the Golden Globes, after he won awards for The Disaster Artist. And it pretty much shut him down. No Oscar nominations. That was it. Yeah. But why is it not the same?
Why isn't Gary getting that?
The same with Roman Polanski and Woody Allen. Woody Allen's pretty much got through unscathed.
Ugh. Gets away with everything. And I love Woody Allen's like early work. Diana's, Love and Death. Sleeper. Yeah. Those are epic. Annie Hall. How can you not love Annie Hall? And yet that person did that.
Yeah, I just tend to feel, if you haven't noticed already, 2 females running this podcast. I tend to feel as a woman very conflicted because I really don't like these men, but then I will still go and watch Darkest Hour when I'm the one saying like, oh, Gary Oldman's such a piece of work, but I'm technically supporting his living by going to see his movie.
Right. I mean, that's what I was trying to say before. How do you separate the performer from the performance? Yeah. Because it's the work of art is not, there are like thousands of people involved in making this film. How do you you can't not support the whole industry.
And it's done now. These movies are in the can. I feel like the only way forward is to not keep giving these specific people work.
Yeah, don't give them jobs. There's plenty of other wonderfully qualified people out there who haven't been assholes.
And notice she said people. She did not say many other qualified men, because guess what?
Ladies can be bad too.
Ladies can play Gary Oldman types as well. But let's get to the most important part of the Oscars. Best Supporting Actor.
Willem Dafoe!
No. See, okay, this is where I'm also torn, because I except for all the Money in the World, the Christopher Plummer one, I've seen all these performances, and they're just so good.
Oh, wait, she wants Sam Rockwell to win, sorry. But
I
want
do.
Willem Dafoe!
I mean, I wouldn't, I almost said I wouldn't be mad if Willem Dafoe won.
Well, you shouldn't be.
But Sam Rockwell... Willem Dafoe has gotten award nods before. He's so well known. Like, Sam Rockwell, this is literally the first year he's ever been recognized in this way at awards. And he's been working for, 20 plus years?
I don't know, I never heard of him.
Yeah, no, early 90s.
I heard of him, when you told me about him.
That's so not true. This is coming from the lady who loves Galaxy Quest. That's so not true.
It's true. No, it's not true. I mean, I have heard of Sam Rockwell before.
Sam Rockwell is a character actor genius.
And he can dance.
Oh, God, can he dance? That came so purely from my heart just now. Could you hear that?
We heard the heart.
He manages to work dancing into every role. So even though he is playing a police officer in 3 Billboards, he still somehow fits in a dance scene. Oh, I love Frances McDormand's sass.
She's always
This is why Carolyn needs to watch award shows, because if she did, she would see anytime a camera pans to Frances McDormand, she will literally try and smack the camera out of her face.
That's my favorite thing to do.
There's just so much sass. Like, lady, this is live. You gotta rein it in. And she just doesn't care. She gives zero
fucks.
0 fucks were given that day. Every day that Frances McDormand existed. Best Supporting Actress. What about... Wait, before you say this, just know that C.J. Craig is...
Oh, shit! That is so hard! Oh, my God. Allison Janney versus Laurie Metcalf. C.J. Craig versus... Wait, what's the Roseanne's sister?
See, this is...
Jackie.
This is what character actors have to put up with. Their faces will go down in history, but they will always be known as such and such.
The one who played the sister.
Yes, that one. That one. So I have seen all of these. Mudbound, Mary J. Blige was awesome. Allison Janney was good. But Leslie Manville, I think, is being severely overlooked because her performance is so kind of subtle. Mm-hmm. But man, she takes down Daniel Day-Lewis with some one-liners where you're just... Oh, yeah. Oh, they're so cutting. And she barely even raises her voice.
That's the
And
best.
she doesn't even look at him. She just says it and just takes him down. She played...
I tried to turn away, excuse me.
Okay, no, but that's beautiful because Let me tell you why. I highly recommend everybody go listen to the 2-parter episode on Chewing It on the Nerdist with Bill Paxton. Because throughout the episode, he straight up just burps into the mic. And
I still have some beer.
And that is her ode to, because he was just such a funny guy.
Yeah.
And one thing else you learn on that podcast is that while filming Club Dread, he ate pancakes every day. And this podcast, we workshopped this podcast over a breakfast for dinner.
We did.
I had pancakes.
I had an omelet.
And we talked Paxton. I feel like now might be the time to actually talk about a movie.
Pray tell, what movie?
Maybe something with Bill Paxton in it?
Sure.
Just tell me one thing, Burke. You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan.
Aliens. This time, it's war.
Before we get into this, though, because we know how touchy people are, I know I listen to many film podcasts. I personally don't care a touch about spoilers, but be forewarned, if you do not want to be spoiled about this movie that came out 30 plus years ago, check right now in our show notes, and we'll let you know where to skip to. If you want to miss all this exciting content,
you don't want to miss this exciting
then you should
content.
skip to what we indicate in the show notes. But personally, I think you're weak if you do that. Man, woman, person up.
That's right. Person up, man.
Person up, man.
Or person up, person, man.
So, Carolyn, where were you in 1986? What was going on in your life when Aliens came out, graced the world with its presence?
1986, I was a young teen. I was an art, music, nerd, history, geek, bookworm, like totally bookworm to the max.
Weren't we all?
We were. We really were. I was actually thankful that I had a uniform to wear to school because my wardrobe was pre-grunge. But I did have 2 watches. I did have the giant shoelaces.
Chunky.
Oh yeah, pink and red. It's exciting. I had a Duran Duran poster on my bedroom wall, and I listened to Adam Ant. My oldest brother was a hairdresser, and he gave me a very tiny mullet.
Oh gosh.
And shortly after that, I never got my hair cut by him again.
Someday, people, I'm going to find a picture of that from her, and I will give it to all of you.
Yeah, it hasn't been scanned. It won't be scanned.
Yeah, no, it will be scanned when we hit a certain number of reviews. When we get 50 positive reviews, I'm going to give that picture to all of you.
Oh, no.
Review away.
In terms of film and television, for me, at that time, the A-Team, Highway to Heaven, Matlock, and Cosby Show were appointment television for me and my dad. My mom did like Matlock. She'd always show up for Matlock. But the other 3, it was pretty much me and my dad. I was too young to see Night Court or Dallas or Miami Vice. And some shows I wish I had seen, but I did not know about them until I was an adult, Sledgehammer and Blackadder. They are 2 of my favorites.
Stuff.
The good stuff. It was an excellent time to be alive if you knew what to watch.
It was an excellent time to be alive. 1986, I was just finding myself, discovering who I might become as a human being one day. I was just, you could say I was like floating. I was like floating in existentialism, really. That's kind of where I was at in 1986.
You were in the pre-Olivia state, one could say.
Almost like being in the womb.
Almost, not quite. You were getting there. Oh yes, 1986 was Year of the Headband because we had Mr. Spock's headband in Star Trek 4, a.k.a. The Voyage Home, a.k.a. Whale Trek, a.k.a. Double Dumbass on You.
Is that the one you told me not to watch?
No, it's 5.
Okay.
Never watch Star Trek 5. Never.
I am sure most people listening are going to be up on Star Trek. Just because it seems like I'm one of the few people that's not. I'm working on it.
Yeah, this year she finally saw Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, under duress.
Right.
But she enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It is, like, Star Trek admittedly is a deliberate blind spot for me. There's so much of it that I haven't gotten around to it. Just, Star Trek's a lot to take on.
But let me blow your movie mind. 1986.
I was about to say blow it, Carolyn, blow it.
1986 included, and these are ones that I remember seeing, because movies were cheaper back then, people.
Sure were.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh.
Pretty in Pink. Crocodile Dundee.
Are we just going to, like, go over the...
Yeah. Platoon, Labyrinth, Back to the Future.
Wait, what?
Oh, no, Back to School.
Oh, it's like, that's so not true. Everything I know is wrong. What's happening?
A couple of films I was, again, too young to see, but wish I had.
Yeah.
Highlander, The Fly, and Blue Velvet.
She wore blue velvet.
Wah, wah, wah.
And that's why we're podcasting.
And not singing.
Yeah, I was a bit young for some of those movies as well. Some were they're a little too mature for me at that time.
Right. You probably could have handled American Tail.
Fievel.
Yeah.
Where out there beneath the pale moonlight.
One very important headband that I did not mention in Year of the Headband. Vasquez in Aliens.
Oh, so good. What a badass. Can we just, like, how did that character not, inspire, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, how did it not shatter
after this movie,
stereotypes?
How are there not tons of movies that are just taking that blueprint, like, oh, that was successful, let's do more of that?
Lots of kick-ass ladies taking names.
Well, not just taking names, but, like, the heroes of the film.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but the last survivors,
Oh, yeah.
all female,
Yep.
all the time, even the aliens. Spoilers. Mm-hmm. No spoilers, because we don't do that.
No way. You've had 30 years to see this one.
Get with it. I didn't even have 30 years to see it, and I still have seen it. But let's actually talk about aliens. First, ask you, what is your relationship to the Aliens franchise overall? How much have you seen?
Yes, I've seen the first two. I didn't see them until years after they came out. Like, in the 90s, I saw them. And I did want to see the Prometheus one, but I just didn't get around to it.
I saw that. I know I saw it. I don't remember anything about it except Michael Fassbender is in it.
He's memorable.
And that is what I took away from that film.
But isn't Charlize in it? Or...
Yes, and maybe Noomi Rapace. But man, I do not remember anything about that movie except for the cast. And I actually only saw Alien maybe 6 or 7 years ago for the first time. So that's still pretty recent for me. I don't know, I tend not to have touched on Cameron's franchise films all that much. We're not the biggest Aliens franchise people. So this is kind of very much new to us. I think this was definitely my first time seeing Aliens.
I'd seen scenes. I hadn't seen it from soup to nuts before I watched it recently. I'm sorry.
It's a good phrase.
Thank you. I was worried that you were not
so good.
enjoying that phrase, turn of phrase.
So for the same people that might be worried about spoilers for Aliens, but are still listening anyway because you're rebels, don't know what it's really about, I think Carolyn should summarize Aliens for you in 30 seconds, which is going to be hard for her because she's a talker.
I'm a wordsmith. Okay, so Ripley and the Orange Cat wake up 57 years later. She just wants to be left alone. And this dude named Burke talks her into helping out with the aliens one more time. She's with some Marines, including Private First Class William L. Hudson, played by William Archibald Paxton. So they land, everybody's dead except for one feral child named Newt.
All right, and that was the synopsis. That's pretty good. Especially the fact that she included Bill Paxton's full name, his full character name,
and full personal name. I did it.
That's impressive. Okay, so just generally, before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, how'd you feel about the movie?
Oh, I loved it, yeah.
Okay, the first act, or even like the first hour and 20 minutes, I think were really rough. I was not in it at all.
They were laying a lot of groundwork.
Oh, so much exposition.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh no, because I know so many people that adore this movie. And I was just like, oh, maybe I'm the one that it's not working on.
No, I mean, it was slow. While I was watching it, I'm like, is this like Greek drama? I kind of feel like there's a chorus, pacing, and the formula.
Oh, it's a slog.
Yeah, they, instead of treating the grunts as a group, they gave them each a little cameo, which it was like, why? Why do we need all this? We just need Paxton. He turns out to be the spokesperson of the grunts.
Right.
And Vasquez, she's key because she's the flamethrower with the kick-ass headband.
Yes.
But we don't really need to hear from all the other ones, like Hicks and whoever. And
yeah, honestly, Can we just be real? Hicks is like a really weak character, right?
Yeah, right.
You know who was originally... So, Hicks is played by Michael Biehn, but originally James Remar.
What?
Yes, and he's actually in the movie. There are a couple shots where you see Hicks from the back, and that's actually James Remar because they had already filmed that bit.
For Bill.
This is also where we should say that this podcast is in total, like, appreciation and just love for Bill Paxton. We love how big he went in all of these roles. I love how much he loved being in his characters.
Right. The hamminess was appropriate to the part he was playing.
It was so much fun, which is why his characters are so
memorable.
larger
than life.
Oh God, and he has so many good lines in this movie. No, but we were talking about Hicks. Yeah. I mean, whatevs. But yeah, so I really didn't get into it until maybe the third act, where essentially it's like, now we need to get out of here.
Right. How do we get out?
Once that started, it doesn't even matter that the rest of the movie was so-so.
Right.
That chunk all the way up until the end.
Oh yeah, it was totally worth it.
Was just tense. I wasn't sitting on the edge of my seat, because let's be honest, I was not sitting on a seat at all. I was watching this on my bed. I was just filling out horizontally.
Yeah, and then just a footnote, the one scene where Hicks is worth watching is when he and Vasquez, early in the film, are basically jazzercising with their flamethrowers.
Yes!
They're, like, practicing how to hold it and how to, like, bend over and how to position it to shoot it. And it looks like jazzercise. It really does, which was really hot back then.
Yeah, I'm pretty much ignoring the first section of the movie because I just was not into it. It was so exposition heavy.
Whoa. But what about the scene where Bishop does the knife thing and Paxton?
Yes. You know something crazy about that?
What?
It was not written in the shooting script that he would take Bill Paxton's hand and use Bill Paxton's hand. He added that in. Almost everybody else on set knew. Bill Paxton did not know that was going to happen.
What?
So I believe, if the internet is correct, because let's be real, I'm getting these trivia bits from, just over time as I've learned them in IMDb and things like that. So they could be completely made up. Mm-hmm. But I think that shriek you get from Bill Paxton is totally just improv.
Genuine.
Mm-hmm. Which would make sense, because apparently Bill Paxton improvised almost all of his lines.
Oh yeah, inspired by his dad.
And actually the Game Over Man, all that bit, all Paxton.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
Yeah, that was pure Paxton.
Pure Paxton.
All of the Paxton is 100% Paxton.
Pure Pax. 18 out of the 25 F-bombs dropped in this film.
Yes.
Uttered by Paxton.
Yeah, I discovered that as well.
Isn't it so good? I believe it too.
Yeah.
I was going to start counting all of the swears he dropped and how many times he said man, but then, got lazy.
That'd be like a drinking game that no one could finish.
So I liked the movie overall.
Yes, big picture, it was a good
film. I would watch the third act again quite a few times just to see, because it's like
Ripley torching the eggs, or
and the queen alien is so
xenomorph.
But how did it know how to use an elevator?
Well, there's.
I guess the doors just opened, right?
Yeah. But let's face it. Humans always assume that nothing is smarter than us, and we are wrong.
Okay, I don't know, but they're stupid enough to...
it's like, I don't know how they could have actually physically operated it, but we got to stop assuming that we're the smartest species, because we're clearly not.
And I think even after all this time, the aliens still hold up. Like, the production design and everything. Oh, yeah. And we have to thank our beloved H.R. Geiger.
Yes.
For coming up with the original, I think, concepts.
Yes.
Which is just, it's a treasure to behold if you ever get a chance to see the Geiger Museum in Gruyere.
I'm jealous. I haven't been. Gruyere, not just a cheese.
No, not just a cheese. A hill town with a castle and a Geiger Museum. Yeah, so it's not the easiest place to get to, but if you're ever just traversing the pre-Alps in Switzerland, give Gruyere a visit, because the Geiger Museum, they have, I think, one of the original, I want to say, like, life-size alien suits. What? I mean, they have all the conceptual drawings, everything. It's pretty amazing. So I feel like the production design holds up still after all this time.
It does.
And even when Ripley gets into the mechanical robot-y suit thing.
Yeah.
What do we call that?
Oh, shit.
The robot-y suit thing.
Yeah, wait, I just call it the metal suit.
I mean, the technology is obviously so aged, but it is so good.
I love the scene where she totally, rock'em sock'em robots. I don't know.
So do we know that Hudson dies, Bill Paxton his character?
We assume he dies. He goes into the pit.
I was amazed how anticlimactic his death was.
He just says "fuck you" and sinks into a pit.
Yeah, and it's not even a big everybody. Oh no!
It's Hudson. No, Hudson.
That would be a better response. Because I feel like he has such a big presence in the movie up until that point.
He was lead grunt.
Trivia fact. I mean, I'm sure all of you know this already. But this is the Paxton fact. He's the only actor to have been killed by a Terminator, an alien, and a Predator.
Mind blown.
I was going to say mind blown after the Robert Oppenheimer quote, and then I thought that'd be a little too punny and maybe disrespect, because he's the father of the atomic bomb.
He's the bomb father, so.
The bomb father.
Wait, did you give out the pun warning at the beginning, or no?
Oh, shoot. No. If you don't like puns, this is not the podcast for you. You should not unsubscribe necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, just be open to the possibilities of wordplay.
You're not wrong. So right.
I'm sorry.
Like, he easily has one of the best lines in the movie. And for me, I don't know about you, but for me, this is my MVP, most valuable Paxton moment.
Okay, tell me.
On express elevator to hell. Going down.
Like, that set the tone
I noted
for that whole second bit.
That captures it. His first line.
Man, this floor is freezing.
What do you want me to do, fetch your slippers for you?
Gee, would you, sir? I'd like that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I believed his feet were cold. And as he would say, whoopee fucking do.
Yes. That has to be purely him.
That
kind
just,
of like his...
That
like,
comes from the soul.
Yeah, kind of like when he's, gee, would you, sir? And it's like, oh, he is the queen of sass.
You're dog meat, pal.
We could keep going. You know, stop your grinning and drop your linen.
Oh, yeah. I say that all the time.
I'm trying every day. Every day I'm, Carolyn, stop your grinning and drop your linen. But I need your help on deciphering, I loved this line.
All right, sweethearts, you heard the man and you know the drill. Assholes and elbows.
I cannot make heads nor tails of it. What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
I was trying to gesture like, okay, if you like try and get your elbow to your...
Or is your elbow in someone else's asshole?
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
And I mean, it's not that it's not... I mean, maybe it's a military thing we just don't know about, but I'm
just
pretty
like
sure it's
in?
not. I don't understand what it means. Inquiring minds want to know about assholes and elbows. Do you have some insight, Carolyn?
It means to work really hard.
But what? Like, what is... But...
Okay, Urban Dictionary says, if a group of field hands is busy bent over picking crops, then a supervisor looking out over the group would see nothing but elbows and assholes. You're bent over and your elbows and your butt are sticking out because you're busy digging in the earth and...
Okay. No, all I'm saying is this film is essentially supposed to take place in what, like 2149 or something?
Yeah, it's in space.
In what world would that phrase still exist?
Yeah.
The fact that they all have quintessentially 80s haircuts.
Oh, yeah.
And 80s clothes except for the collar.
Dude, was Carter J. Burke trying out for the Romantics? Because with that...
the hair.
The pompadour.
Oh, Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser's pompadour. And the that jacket.
I'm not mad about that collar. You get it? It's mad about you. Yeah, I thought it was funny that they really didn't make an attempt to make anything else like on everybody's person look futuristic.
No,
except for popping half of the collar.
Yeah, it was odd.
And then, why is Stay Frosty not in common usage? Hashtag Stay Frosty, guys.
Yeah.
Make this happen. If you like this podcast, hashtag Stay Frosty. If you hate this podcast, hashtag Stay Frosty.
That's right.
Make it a thing. And then the bit towards the end with Newt in the water.
Oh, yeah.
That gave me the heebie-jeebies. I knew she was going to be okay. They're not going to kill off a kid.
No, and I mean, we haven't really discussed Newt, and...
I think we should.
I mean, during that first 2/3 of the film, when it was slow and you had time to think about things like Greek drama...
Right.
Or at least I did. I considered the feral child an archetype in cinema and story.
Everybody coming to your bookshelf soon. Next year, Carolyn's autobiography, The Feral Child. Look out for that next year. Thank you. Support local bookshops by picking up a copy of The Feral Child.
So anyways, I was thinking, well, it was kind of a thing in the 80s. There are a few examples. There's Mad Max 2 Road Warrior, where the feral child.
Yes.
That was 81. And then in 85, Thunderdome.
Yes.
The whole tribe of children.
People don't like that movie as much, but Carolyn and I saw that in theaters last year.
On the big screen.
And I have to say, I quite enjoyed it.
Tina Turner and the Lost Children.
And it hits a lot closer to home now. The ending, now that we're in certain situations.
Yeah, just the cultural climate that we're living in. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. The messy hair, the big messy hair, very 80s big, dirty faces.
Ah, the 80s. Big messy hair and dirty faces.
And then we have Newt, who clearly falls in that line. Correctly chosen to be female for the aliens.
Yeah, it's also it's also matrilineal, you know.
Yeah. It's in some ways it's a female version of the Mad Max story.
Right, females are so integral. It's an interesting matriarchy kind of situation going on.
I mean, it's definitely the tenacity of the female of the species that's at work here, fighting the battles, laying the eggs, tending the young, making the hard decisions.
I think we went a little deep there. I think we related that to real life a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically women are awesome.
Yeah, women rule.
And Newt was played by Carrie Henn. It was the only movie she ever did.
Yeah.
I think she became a teacher.
Excellent.
Right? So cool. But apparently when she did the scene where, you know, she falls down the duct.
That was so classic. I mean, it's like, I was thinking...
It was.
Ripley, don't hold the coat. Hold the kid.
Come on.
Hold the
don't
kid.
Hold the coat. Hold the kid.
It's like Ripley, of all people, should know better. She's like the biggest badass there is. And she forgets to grab the actual kid.
Okay, what's hilarious about that is because it was essentially, you know, like a 3-story slide, Carrie Henn would mess up the take so that she'd have to do it again.
Of course.
And she did it time and time again until James Cameron finally said, like, basically, if you can just do this right, I'll let you play on it if you stop messing up the take. Which is also why, exhibit A of why I think child actors are, it's rough. She just wants to play on a slide.
Yeah, what kid wouldn't? Trixie.
Trixie Aliens is. Okay, I have a question for you. Ripley makes it back with Newt because she is saved by Bishop in their spaceship. And they get back and think, they're safe.
Yay.
Movie's over.
Yay.
Just kidding. The alien queen xenomorph, what you said, unfortunately guts poor Bishop. Now, my question is, when you see half of him lying there, I don't know if you remember this, you see all of his intestines and things, and they're all white and just like pale color.
Yes, milky.
So my question is that because there was an alien inside him, right?
I think they just ripped him, didn't they?
Okay, did she just puncture him, or did a chest burster come out of him?
I'm not sure.
Because I couldn't quite tell. But anyway, my point is, why are his intestines that color? If they went to such lengths to make him look so human as possible,
as an android,
why did they not have his intestines and things colored the way they're supposed to be?
Well,
this is a nitpick, but it's a huge part of like the design of that character.
Well, it might be because he's so realistic looking that if he sprung a leak, people wouldn't think, oh shit, this person's going to bleed to death.
Right, the people who weren't quite with it.
Right, people that might not have recognized him as a droid would know, oh, he can't be human if his blood is white.
Yeah,
that's
just gross.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Oh, and you know he got food poisoning when he had to spit up that like white stuff when he gets gutted. The milk and yogurt concoction they had that he was going to spit up had been sitting under lights.
Oh, shit.
And he got food poisoning afterwards after having to do that, like essentially those spit takes. I know, right? It just makes it so much worse.
That's just, wow. The things that actors go through.
Oh, and then I thought it was like the tagline for the first movie, you know, in space.
No one can hear you scream.
But the alien literally gets flung out into space and screams. I feel like they let themselves down there just a tad. Come on.
They're just seeing if you were paying attention. That was a test.
That was a test.
I want to know, what did you think of Carter J. Burke? He was a slimy suit.
He was.
I mean, the whole way, it's like all she wanted to fucking do after 57 years in suspended animation was to like just chill for a bit. She wanted to do something fulfilling, not go back to a xenomorph nest. What did... I don't know. He was just so evil. I hated him.
I could see it coming too.
Yeah.
I don't know. At least I did. From the beginning, he was too nice. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. This isn't Mad About You.
No.
So I like my only real references for Paul Reiser are Diner and Mad About You.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really the two things that I actually remember him in.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of his stand-up, which was okay, but Mad About You, I think I followed that show pretty closely when it was on. He was so
good.
funny, delightful. Yeah. But anyways, what happened to you when Burke turned the screen off when...
Oh, I saw that coming.
Well, no, but it's like...
Okay, well, honestly, I actually wrote down, because I wrote down some of my reactions to these things. I did not watch this with Carolyn. I wrote down, Burke, you chump.
I just wrote OMG with like 10 exclamation points. What the fuck?
I mean, I know they needed it because there was some drama. I think there was enough.
Right, it just made
Why did they take him anyway? What skills did he have? Why did they take him?
evil. That was it.
And a vest. And he had a fancy vest.
And that pompadour.
He added some color, because the rest of them are kind of just fatigues and things like that.
The headbands. They had headbands.
Burke was really the only one contributing with like that. I think it was like a yellowy vest and, you know, the hair.
Ripley had pretty awesome hair. As a curly-haired brunette, yeah, totally dug it. And while watching the opening, I seriously considered Halloween costume, white pajamas, and an orange cat.
Okay. We should also mention, this is so sweet. All of the Marines got to customize their costumes and things like that. Bill Paxton, on his armor, he wrote his wife's name, Louise.
Not know that.
Who's still married to him at the time he passed. And to come full circle, I just want everybody to know this, if you didn't know this already, Bill Paxton's character, Hudson, would eventually inspire the character played by Sam Rockwell in Galaxy Quest.
No.
It has been cited that Hudson was the primary influence for the creation of that character in Galaxy Quest.
Dude.
Which for me is just, people say that
The connections.
destiny doesn't exist. I disagree. We could just whisper. There are people that like whispering. I don't know if we want that contingent as our fan base.
Perhaps.
It might get creepy.
Yeah.
I think we should stop. On the scale of K-Pax to Super Pax, where does this movie land? Yes, we realize K-Pax does not have Bill Paxton in it, but we just thought it'd be really fun to use. Thank you.
I'd say Super Pax.
I would say just a
Not
5.5 hairs short of a Super Pax.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Super Pax to the max.
We should also mention, if rhyming is not something you enjoy, this is not the podcast for you.
Delete.
Sorry, not sorry.
Nothing to be sorry for
Down
here.
with the patriarchy. Just kidding. I love men.
They have their place.
Both appreciative and insulting at the same time. That's what we're good at. So overall, I think it was an awesome film. I mean, not the best James Cameron by far.
Oh, God, no. It was decent.
But it was fun. It was better than I was expecting, honestly, because I'm not hugely into this franchise to begin with. I saw Alien. It was fine.
I kind of got scared when I saw it. I don't know, maybe I'm just a chicken.
But
it's getting very warm in the studio. I just want you to know that.
I just want you to know that it is February in New England, and it was
70 fucking degrees, man.
No.
What?
It hit over 75 today. You don't understand, people. I'm from California, so I know that anybody in California right now is like, so what?
No, this is freaking ridiculous.
It's going to snow tomorrow, and it was 75 today.
It'll be normal tomorrow.
So I feel like this really this solidifies that global warming is definitely not a real thing. It is all a hoax. Because that's completely normal.
No comment, man.
But okay, let's get into the.
Oh, I have a question for you. As you're like a filmie.
Yeah.
So
She says a filmie because I work in that industry, and I have seen too many movies.
She's seen more movies
than I should have at this age.
Yes, because I'm older and I think I've seen less films. Even though I've seen a lot of films, definitely more.
Continue.
Is James Cameron, and maybe you can't speak to this, think he was literate enough in the 80s to have seen Truffaut? Truffaut was...
I think so.
Because Truffaut was obsessed with feral children. And there was the 1970 film The Wild Child, and that had been inspired by like a journalist study of feral children.
And even things like 400 Blows, it's still that same concept. And you do see it throughout the 80s. I don't know if it was necessarily derivative of that. It's tricky because when we talk about James Cameron, I feel like people are very split into two camps. Yeah. People think he is an absolute genius, or people just aren't into it. And I'm very divided because so many of his films, like True Lies, it's so good. But then other films, I feel like some things, like in Avatar, they're just kind of, I don't know, kind of doofy, like writing and characters and narrative.
Right. For me, Avatar was eye candy. It wasn't.
Right.
It didn't have a strong plot, and it was clearly intended to attract audiences of all ages.
Sometimes I feel torn because I don't know whether I'm liking certain James Cameron movies because of the crew he had around him, or if it's James Cameron's direction that I'm liking.
Right. Is it the craftsmanship or is it the director?
Because so many of his comments are very contradictory to kind of the messages of his films. Like Aliens is such a feminist movie.
Yes.
Just in its essence, like its core. Like the heroes of the film at the end, and even throughout, at every kind of climactic point, it's a woman.
Right. And no actual males are in the escape pod.
So I'm trying to reconcile with the fact that someone who could make such a feminist movie could be so tone deaf with certain comments, the things he said about Wonder Woman. And I'm going to read you a little excerpt here. So it was in an interview with The Guardian, kind of his thoughts on Wonder Woman, and of course Wonder Woman was directed by Patty Jenkins. Female-directed film with much female input, crew, actors, everything. James Cameron had to say about it, all of the self-congratulatory back-patting Hollywood's been doing over Wonder Woman has been so misguided. She's an objectified icon, and it's just male Hollywood doing the same old thing. To me, it's a step backwards. Sarah Connor was not a beauty icon. She was strong, she was troubled. She earned the respect of the audience through pure grit.
Oh, God.
I don't... He also followed up with those comments when people asked him to address them. He digged himself into a hole even deeper, basically didn't backtrack, and ended up saying things like, well, Sarah Connor was not sexualized. There was nothing sexual about her.
Are you kidding me?
And here's where I take umbrage with that. Also, I think part of being human is your innate sexuality. Even if you are asexual, it is asexuality.
Yeah.
It's part of being a human. So to say that there is nothing sexual about Sarah Connor is stripping away her womanhood.
Yeah.
And that's something that only men are doing. Yeah. And in the same breath, he's saying that, this male gaze needs to stop. Wonder Woman's so objectified. I don't know how to feel about James Cameron because he thinks he's championing women, and it's like,
no, he's not.
Wonder Woman is amazing because you don't have to be either or. Like you don't have to be a Sarah Connor or a Wonder Woman.
No, you don't have to. You can be who you are.
I don't know. I thought it was really inspiring to see someone who's you can be beautiful and like admired for that beauty, and you can be strong and admired for that strength, and you can be sexually powerful, and you can also be kind of naive to the ways of the world, which everybody is at certain stages of life. Like she is when she leaves her home.
Right.
But I feel like they don't cancel each other out. Like women are dynamic. And you can own your sexuality. You can enjoy looking beautiful. You can enjoy.
Yeah.
You don't have to cut off one or the other. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We can be everything.
Everything.
Mr. Cameron.
Everything and anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was so tone deaf.
Selling us short.
Wait, so it's when he says things like that make me think maybe it's not James Cameron that's behind feminist tones of these films, and rather the people maybe behind like the writing team, producing, because I just don't see how both those things could come out.
Yeah, I mean,
of the same guy, especially in that order. If anything, it'd be the other way around. He made those comments, then he evolved, and he makes Aliens. Not he makes Aliens, which is so evolved, and then backtracks. Unpack that, Carolyn. Unpack that.
Well, what came to mind as you were saying that? Well, I read an article about his reputation precedes himself as being a difficult director to work for. Though the one, and it pertains to this podcast because it's the star of Aliens, Sigourney Weaver, said that he was great to work with and a generous and supportive director.
And this will not be the only James Cameron discussion we have, because if you know anything about Bill Paxton's filmography, you know that we have many, many, many more James Cameron movies to come.
Titanic, Terminator,
True Lies. Is there anything else we want to say about Aliens?
Did you know, fun fact, that Kenner made a Hudson action figure?
Excuse me?
There is a Hudson action figure. It exists. Kenner made it. We need to look on eBay, man.
If anybody wants to If anybody has one of these and wants to donate one to the podcast, we would love to have it as our mascot.
Friends for life, man, if you can find it.
Paxton Pals. I feel like we have unpacked aliens. I feel like if Bill Paxton was not in this film, it would be significantly lesser.
It would be
until you get to the third act where, you know, it's mostly Sigourney Weaver being cool.
He definitely contributes a color and a tone to the whole...
Here's the question. Why should people watch Aliens in 2018? What are people going to get out of it? Why should you still watch Aliens?
Okay, this is me being cynical. So in the year 2179, there is still a United States. It was the United States Colonial Marine Corps that those soldiers were working for.
Apparently the U.S. still exists.
Yes.
People still use phrases like assholes and elbows or elbows and assholes, whichever order it goes.
Farm lingo. Yeah, weird. Yeah.
But you should see Aliens because of Sigourney Weaver. I mean, that last act is so good.
It's an empowering film for
anybody.
For everyone. Yeah. For everyone. It's beating the odds. Using your strength and your smarts to defeat a badass alien foe. And to save a child.
Hashtag the feral child. Guys, out next year. I'm serious. Look at bookstores near you. Carolyn, would you like to play a game?
Sure. I'm scared now.
And this game is called Bill or Swill. That's right. Bill or Swill. This is our game. I am going to give you...
I am sitting up straight and holding on to my chair right now.
This segment may bomb horribly, but here's the premise.
Game over, man!
It may never return.
We're doing it once more because I'm going to return the favor, man.
Okay. I'm going to read you 3 lines. Which line is the only one Bill Paxton has actually uttered?
Like in any movie or in Aliens?
Any movie. 2 of these lines are not real. Like, not even in a movie where another character said it. Only 1 line is something Bill Paxton has said in a movie. Are you ready for Bill or Swill? First line. Bro, you don't got the cojones to take me down. You let that one sink in. Line number 2. Well, isn't that just 2 dams more than I give right now? Mm-hmm. And line 3. You know, octopus spelled backwards is Seputko. We're going to let Carolyn ruminate on those. What is Bill? And what 2 lines are Swill? Bro, you don't got the cojones to take me down. Line 2. Well, isn't that just 2 dams more than I give right now? Line 3. You know, octopus spelled backwards is Seputko. She looks stumped.
Don't.
She does. They're all very Paxtonian.
They are all so Paxtonian.
Everyone at home shouting at you because they have Google.
They know. I have a sneaking suspicion after some rumination and cogitation. 2.
You think
2 dams.
Well, isn't that just 2 dams more than I give right now?
Because that's how I feel. That's what I'm feeling.
You are wrong.
Fuck no.
That line was pure Olivia. The correct line is, you know, octopus spelled backwards is Seputko, and that is from Club Dread, where he plays Coconut Pete.
I haven't seen that film.
I haven't either, but I do know the character. How do you feel? Are we done? Do you have anything else you'd like to say before we start closing it out?
The airlock scene was cool, but I don't have much to say except Bishop.
Oh, should also be said. Ripley's famous line.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Most definitely the origin story for Molly Weasley's line.
Not my daughter, you bitch!
In Harry Potter, this means nothing to Carolyn. She's looking at me with the most blank of stares, but this will mean something to Potterheads, so.
Okay, I've read some Harry Potter.
No, I just want that in there.
Yeah. I'm just defending myself in case she doesn't cut anything. I've read 4.5 Harry Potter books.
But she's seen all of Star Trek.
Yes, the even-numbered films are definitely worth the time. Con.
If you are still with us after all this time,
congratulations!
You made it.
Yes!
You did it.
Woohoo!
You are free to end this episode soon. You're not free to unsubscribe because we need you.
We need you, man.
And when we say we need you, we're talking to probably 2 people that are just friends of ours that are doing this just to humor us.
Thank you, friends.
Considering that they listen to us talk like this just all the time anyway.
Yeah.
The fact that they've gone the extra, step to listen to us
when we're not
on
there.
Their free time.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful.
We mean it.
We love you all.
We love you all
so much.
Thank you.
And for anybody new,
congratulations and welcome.
Welcome. If you have any Bill or Swill, because I'll be honest, I really had to dig deep to write those. Please email your Bill or Swill, your long-distance educations, or your general Paxton post, thepaxtoning@gmail.com.
Yes.
If you'd like to keep updated on what film we'll talk about next, for everything else, you can follow us on Letterboxd, Twitter, and Facebook, all at The Paxtoning.
So if you wanted to contact us, you can message me directly on my Instagram at heliotrope6. Heliotrope is a purple flower. She told me I didn't need to tell you, but it's a purple flower.
But you know what? She's just going, damn the man, save the empire.
That's right.
And as for me, you can find me on Letterboxd and Twitter at Olivia Marion and Instagram at Olivia Marion with 2 N's. And if you need more film talk, some of the great people on Tumblr have posed their 13th filmography challenge to me. So it is going to be Michael Shannon, voted not by me, which is surprising.
I was going to say, he's your other boyfriend.
No, this was completely user-generated on Tumblr by people that for some reason like to listen and talk about movies. So you can follow that as it gets started on oliveontheroad.tumblr.com.
Oh yeah, I have a Letterboxd account. Yeah, CB McGuire.
We're all on Letterboxd, so you can follow Carolyn on Letterboxd at CB McGuire. You can follow me at Olivia Marion, and you can follow and keep updated with all of our episodes at The Paxtoning. Yeah. And please, if you have made it this far and you are slightly tolerating us, which we love you for, please leave us a review on iTunes and a rating. So join us next time, we hope.
Come back.
This time we will be talking about
Terminator.
Yes, that's right. We're getting into the Terminator. Go big or go home, just like Paxton.
That's right. FYI, in this installment, we were pretty agreeable.
Yeah, which was surprising.
Yes. The gloves are coming off for the Terminator.
Oh boy, are they.
Oh yeah.
I saw it quite recently for the first time. Couple of months ago?
Yeah, several times I've seen it.
And
yes, many theories.
Okay. Yeah. So that's how I feel about it.
It's deep shit, man.
So are we good? You feel good about that? So that's it for this episode of The Paxtoning. From both of us, stay frosty.
Podcast over, man.
Should I do NPR voice?
Sure, whatever you want to do. It's your voice, your choice.
Theme song.
Yeah.
Theme song.
Whoa.
Bill Paxton.
William Archibald Paxton.